Welcome back to Hi Guys, it's your boy BDR and I'm back with another WWE video. Now today's video I'm going to be going over the glaring holes in Triple H's booking. Now before I get started I'm going to put out these few disclaimers. The first one, this should just be very obvious, this is, my opinion. We could agree and disagree. If you disagree with any of the points that I make in this video, drop them down in the comments below and explain why. Just to let you know, it's just my opinion, whatnot, subjective, based on what I've seen, you know, in the shows and whatnot. Second one, I do not hate Triple H. I like Triple H. I grew up watching Triple H. I enjoy DX, top 5 tag team of all time. Argue with a wall. But it's like, I like Triple H, the wrestler. Triple H, the booker, he's had some questionable moments where we just shake our heads and be like, what is this? You know what I mean? And that's what this video is about, like pointing out those flaws, those questionable things that he does with the booking that just has us shaking our heads. That's pretty much the point of the video. So yeah, just to let you know, I don't hate H. Like, production under Triple H has been better. You can kind of say better than Vince. Camera angles have gotten better. I understand the sponsors and whatnot. Like, not gonna lie, some things have gotten better when Triple H took charge. So I will say that. It's just that the things I put on this video, they're kind of like the main crutches of his booking. And, we're going over those later. And I think that's it for the disclaimers. Now let's get on with the first point. Alright guys, we're back. So now the first topic we're going to talk about is the tag division. In my opinion, the current tag division is low-key in the shitter. Like, it's not good. Like, the tag division isn't good because the reason why I'm using this picture here is just, I remember back in April, like early this year when, like, okay, the tag titles are going to be split. That's the answer to the tag division. All we need to do is split up the tag titles and the division will be 1,000 times better. Let's see. So, they make this, 6-pack ladder match at Mania. Match isn't decided until like both belts are are taken. So that means we're definitely getting new tag team champions. It's like, okay, they're splitting up the tag belts. Match happens, good match, whatnot. And let's look at the tag champs ever since then. They replaced all SmackDown and Raw belts with they brought back the World Tag Team belts and they brought back the OG Tag Team Championships. Now let's talk about the OG Tag Team Championships. Well, ever since then we've had A-Town Down Under, which didn't do anything with the titles. Wow. Then we have DIY who were fed to the Bloodline, and then we have the Bloodline. So it's kind of like, wow. The tag titles are back in the Bloodline story. Great. Sure, man. Sure. And it looks like no one's beating the Bloodline besides the Usos for those belts. So until that Usos return, no one's beating the Bloodline for those tag belts. Then we have the World Tag Team Championships. We have, Awesome Truth, who held it for 70 days, didn't do shit with the belts, and then now currently it's held by JD Blockhead and Finn can't win big matches Balor. Yes, I went there. Side note, Finn fan club, I'm sorry man, your dude is washed. He can't win big matches and Bad Blood literally proved that. And like the past 5 years of his booking has literally proven that the dude can't win big matches. The dude is mid card for life, side rant. So yeah, it's kind of like tag divisions in the shitter. It's like A-Town Down Under doing nothing. New Day, they're teasing a heel turn. DIY is washed. Like their NXT counterparts are way better than their main roster counterparts. Awesome Truth broken up, and yeah. Oh, but BDR, you're wrong there. because we're gonna get Machine City Motor Guns and the Lucha Brothers. Okay, Machine City Motor Guns. We have to. It's either we're waiting until 2025 to get that team, or we have to wait all the way to like November, December, get them. And the Lucha Brothers, it's kind of like I don't trust how they're gonna pull up to the main roster. Triple H will actually have them, feud with Santos for like a year and a half because you gotta have luchadors fight other luchadors, right? Diversity. So yeah, I don't trust how they're gonna do the Lucha Brothers in WWE. And by the way, let's just say if they're like the Motor Guns and the Lucha Brothers are like the two greatest tag teams in the world, guess what? Two tag teams does not equal an entire division. Like you have two good tag teams in a shit division. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, something needs to be done about the tag division. They need more. And it's kind of like the worst part about it. We have to wait until April for more tag teams to show up. So we're stuck with this shit ass division that we see now. At least the Usos, they're preparing to come back and beating the Bloodline. It's just that the World Tag Team belts haven't defended it in 100. They've been champs for like 100 days and like what, one defense? Like suck my ass. Like the tag division is shit. It's like complete dog water. Splitting up the titles was not the answer to the tag division. Hopefully the tag division gets better going into next year. Alright, let's move on to the next point. Alright, now speaking of, bad tag division, we're also going to talk about how the women's division is also as bad. Now, the women's division, it's been pretty meh, let's just be honest. There's been like a few good spots, but overall, women's division is low-key ass as well, especially as of late. You know, you know, obviously, based on the picture that I chose for this segment. Yeah, this Liv and Rhea storyline, it had a perfect opportunity to end at Bad Blood, but nope. We had to bring back Raquel, who came out to crickets, and it's kind of like now we have to see, you know, Rhea Rip. Now we have to see Rhea Ripley versus Liv to close out 2024 and bring that shit over to 2025. And it's just like, oh my lord, it's just like, other than that, it's like, what's there about the Raw women's division? It's like, oh, Bianca and Jay are good, Io and Kyrie are good, but they're stuck in tag team title purgatory. And then we have the No Pop Collective, Natalia and Big 2024. Like, oh my lord. Like, SmackDown is better, but not by much. All SmackDown has going for it is kind of like when is Tiffy gonna cash in on Nia? That's all that it has going for it. But I'll take, you know, Tiffy teasing her cash in over like the entire, over the entire Raw Women's division. Like NXT literally, like current NXT literally towers over both the Raw and SmackDown Women's divisions right now. Oh, it is about this Liv and Rhea feud is kind of like, oh, Raquel is back. We're gonna get Raquel versus Rhea. It's like no one was hype about seeing that match last year. How, what's gonna make people be hype about it this year? Oh, because Raquel turned heel? Suck my ass. That like I like Rhea Ripley, but that's a type of match like you try to find your remote and click on like the last channel button. As Francisco would say, that's a chief break, that's a bathroom break, that's a play Fortnite break, that's a get glurp from your dom break. Sorry, it's a complete bathroom break match. And the thing is, it's like because of what happened at Bad Blood, Liv retained with the help of Raquel. Rhea Ripley literally has the highest chance of winning the Rumble. So now we're gonna potentially waste either the women's chamber, or even worse, we're gonna waste the women's rumble on this shitty ass feud that should have ended on Saturday. That should have ended on Saturday. It's just classic Triple H. Dragging the story more about dragging later on. It's just like I don't want to see this. I'm pretty sure majority of IWC does not want to see this feud go into it. And it's just like SmackDown. It's just all they have is Nia and Tiffany. That's their division. It's just kind of like hopefully Io Sky wins. It's just a bad division, and like I said, you have to wait until April or May for call ups. It's just like sort of we're forced with the stuff that we have now. It's just the No Pop Collective. Man, the No Pop Collective in 2024. Oh fuck. Natalia on the TV screen, like please, man. Like it's almost like the women's division is like it's hard to watch. It really is. Like Liv and Rhea getting dragged into 2025. Like the fact that there are niggas out there, actual niggas that want to see Liv and Rhea with Dominic as special guest referee to take the women's world title spot at Mania 41 absolutely disgust me. Like that's like the ultimate bathroom break match. And I like both Rhea and Liv, but they're just in shit storyline. They're in this shit storyline right now. And we're forced to watch it until and then we're stuck with the storyline. Let me not say forced. We're stuck with the storyline until April. But you know, there's niggas out there that will say stuff like the women's division is good. And the worst part about it is there are actual niggas out there that want women's IC and US belts. It's like, please fuck no. You don't have a deep enough women's division to do that. Sorry, you just don't. You don't. Women's division is ass. The storylines that they have at the moment are ass. It's just, damn. The women's division looked better like 2 or 3 years ago. It really did. Like, hopefully, like Bianca could like beat Liv for the title. I wouldn't mind Bianca 2 belts. But overall, it's just a bad. Overall, the current women's division for like both the main roster brands, Raw and SmackDown, they're just in the shitter. And you know, adding a women's US or a women's IC is definitely not gonna change anything. So yeah, just like in short, like women's division, bad, near unwatchable at the moment. We got, you know, Beachin and dumpster trash matches. It's like, who's watching this? Like, who sees that and be like, I'm not gonna change the channel? Okay. Alright, guys, let's move on. Okay, another thing that Triple H, you know, another glaring hole in Triple H's booking is the dude does not know when to strike when the iron is hot. You know, the main example is, you know, Otis and Gable. Like, what happened to the story? They had the perf they have the perfect opportunity to set things off. Yes, it is raining. They had the perfect time to like set it off. It's like, okay, you know, Gable kept on abusing Alpha Academy and whatnot. Otis had enough, you know, retaliated, and then nothing happened. Gable went on to fight the spooky characters, also known as the Wyatt Six. Ooh, the spooky characters. And then we haven't heard from either man since. Otis is in catering, and probably so is Chad Gable, also in catering as well. So it's kind of like they had everything to make this like a top feud for the summer. Like Otis's first top feud in the company, but nope, just do nothing with it. Another example of not striking when the iron is hot is like, you know, majority of 2024 Jey Uso. You know, you could have had him win Money in the Bank instead of Drew, but you know, reason, you know, multiple, you know, IC title losses, you know, the world title losses. It's like, you know, another case in point is, you know, 2023 LA Knight. Now, yeah, LA Knight, he got it. You know, he's the current US champ. I'm not, but it's like the while it took to get there. In 2023, he was like the most over guy in the company, way over than Cody and Jay. Like he was detox. Like he got the loudest pops of the night. All for what? Just to lose to like a multiple title matches to Reigns. Like, oh, they gave him a world title match with Reigns, and then it's just No one was expecting him to win, but it's kind of like we already knew the result of the match. The moment the match was announced, it was just another, all right, let's just have Roman busy on the road type match. No, but ever since then, he's picked it up. But it's kind of like at that time, LA Knight didn't win Money in the Bank. That was like IWC was like outraged at that, ready to call Triple H, a fraud. People were beginning to turn on him until he had EO winning. EO won the Money in the Bank later on that night, and all of a sudden people love Triple H again. It's just like when is Triple H gonna learn to like strike when the iron is hot? Like you could have had something with Otis and Gable, but chose to do nothing. Meanwhile, they're both getting fat in catering. Like hopefully going into 2025, like he knows when to like strike, especially with like Tiffany and like Nia. Like hopefully he picks the right time to actually have Tiffany successfully cash in, because man, it's like there's a chance they might actually execute Tiffany's cash in so poorly, and no one wants to be there for that. And that's another point, Triple H at times does not know what to strike when the iron is hot. And now let's move on to another glaring hole is Triple H. He has a knack for dragging stories. Case in point, this Bloodline and Judgment Day story. Like, it's a shame that this Bloodline story. It's a shame, not Bloodline. It's a shame that this Judgment Day storyline is going into 2025, where it had the potential, or you had the cases where you could have ended it this ended the Judgment Day storyline this year, but nope. We're gonna have to waste a Rumble win on Rhea so she and Liv could continue fighting over a championship and a dude with a mullet, but people still gas that up. And Bloodline still taking over. Hopefully Mania 41, the end of the Judgment Day storyline, the end. Like I want to see a complete reset after Mania 41, but knowing Triple H, he might actually drag the storyline. He might actually have the Bloodline storyline go all the way to Mania 42 or 43. And potentially the Judgment Day storyline might not even end at Mania next year. It'll just continue to drag on and drag on. And you can see that with Triple H, it's kind of like he has this thing that's like long-term storytelling. Like Triple H, it's okay to have short 2-week build stories. Not every story needs to be 8 to 9 months. You had the potential to end Liv versus Rhea on Saturday. Like I'm glad that like the Punk and Drew feud is over, but like that Rhea Bad Blood should have just been the pay-per-view where like all those feuds ended and just to start fresh. It's like, you gotta drag on the storyline for, the case of long-term storytelling. Like not everything needs to be an 8 to 9 month story. It's okay to have a 2 or 3 week story. Hell, in some cases, it's good to have a 1 week story. Now, what happened to short-term storytelling? And instead, let's drag on and add nonsensical stuff to the story and stuff that won't get people excited, like, Raquel coming back. Yeah, man, Rhea versus Raquel in 2024. Who's hyped, let's have the Bloodline story go beyond Mania 41. After like Roman and The Rock fight at Mania 41, let's have the story continue. Let's have them fight again at Mania 42. Long-term storytelling. I think that Triple H needs to stop doing that. Like, stop with the long-term. Stop with like making everything long-term storytelling. Short stories matter too. And that's the thing. Like, dude has the potential to just have both those stories go into Mania 42. Yeah, I just feel like, more short stories. And like for your main event storylines, that's where you need to have the long story. It shouldn't be a long story for a mid card or a low card feud. But yeah, That's pretty much it for that point. Let's move on. All right, guys, we're back, and I think another glaring hole in Triple H's booking is Black and Gold NXT. A thing that's I think that's pretty much it's in our faces. It's just like Triple H wants to turn both Raw and SmackDown into Black and Gold NXT. He kind of caters to those fans that say stuff like Black and Gold NXT was like the best thing about wrestling in the 2010s, even though that's completely not true. You know, it's kind of like it starts with, the whole 5 match card thing. Black and Gold used to have 5 matches because I understand current NXT usually goes by like 4 or 5 matches. But that's for NXT. That's not for the main roster because I know this whole 5 match card thing is pretty controversial. Some people like 5 matches, some people hate 5 matches, some people are in between and whatnot. It starts with that. Me personally, I just believe that we should have 6 matches per PLE. Thing is, it's kind of like, other thing I want to point out is Black and Gold favoritism. Now you might be thinking, well, aren't we supposed to rely on NXT for the future? Well, yeah, NXT is the future of WWE. But what I mean by Black and Gold favoritism is by like, look who's on the roster that's still getting TV time. Like we're trying to push Shayna Baszler in big 2024. Like it's pretty obvious that like that's a Black and Gold favorite, but it ain't doing nothing on screen. Then we have DIY who's washed. Like I'm gonna say it again. Their NXT counterparts were way better than their current counterparts. Fight me in the comment section about that. They're just washed. Rhea Ripley basically bulldozing the entire women's division when she was champion, basically getting female Lesnar booking. And if it wasn't for her injury, she would have surpassed Bianca's reign of 400 plus days easily. I'm thinking Bianca Belair is also another Black and Gold, but it's pretty obvious between the two Black and Gold. Like one is a Black and Gold favorite and one is from Black and Gold. It's pretty easy to separate right there. And I just think it's gonna keep on going. It's kind of like push more Black and Gold wrestlers instead of like, the homegrowns that you've grown. Or even go as far to be like, oh, let's go as far as to like give the new NXT people, bad booking when they come over here. Like, Braun Breaker not beating Sami Zayn in the first try. But he beat him in nope, doesn't matter. Should have beat him in the first try for the IC title. Or like this even worse, like they might actually try to book Obafemi as a jobber when he comes to the main roster, possibly next year or something like that. Or Trick Williams for that matter. I really hope Triple H does not fumble those two. And they'll just give like they'll probably just job to DIY or something like that. That thing is like his love for Black and Gold NXT. Try to turn everything like Survivor Series is not even Survivor Series anymore. It's now Survivor Series War Games. Like, why can't War Games have its own pay-per-view and turn Survivor Series back to what it was, the 5-on-5 traditional match? Like, why are we doing this? Why? Like we're like, do people actually want to see No Pop Collective in the female War Games match? Like, please no. But he'll do it because, they came from Black and Gold. You'll have, Pete Dunne on the screen in Big 2024. Yes, he's another one that's also washed. Sorry, his NXT counterpart was better than his main roster counterpart. Winning matches against guys that tower over him and whatnot because, Black and Gold, am I right? We gotta Black and Gold was the best thing about wrestling in the 2010s. We gotta, cater to those people instead of catering to all wrestling fans. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's pretty much it. I just think that, that's kind of like his main mission is to just turn both main rosters into Black and Gold NXT, even though you shouldn't try to have both main rosters as you know, developmental. They should just be their own thing. It's the main roster, not developmental. Like I'm just saying, like developmental and main roster are two different things. Why are you trying to make why are you trying to make the main rosters resemble developmental, even if it was from the early to late 2010s? All right, that's pretty much it. Now let's move on to the next point. All right, guys, with our last, you know, glaring hole, it is basically, well, this is basically going out to his defenders, you know, who like defend, even when the booking is shit. And an example of this is the picture I'm showing you. If you guys already forgot, you know, earlier in the year, Drew McIntyre won Money in the Bank and lost it, you know, failed to cash in at, at the exact same night for some odd reason. And, you know, people were rightfully had the right to, you know, be mad at this decision because it was basically nonsensical booking. Well, they were just straight up H defenders saying that this was like chef's kiss. This was like the best way to go. Oh, there were no better options. Excuse me? JLA have Mello hold it for a year? Excuse me? And the reason why they're usually like this is because they all share the same hive mind mindset. And that mindset is, well, at least Vince isn't booking anymore. Or Vince would have made the show 1,000 times worse. It's like, at least Vince would have just like, Vince wouldn't have shat the bed like this. Like, this was just complete like crap in pants. Like, you couldn't just have Punk like cost Drew at the contract match. You would have had the exact same effect. And for all those things, oh, that would have been obvious. It's like this was like one of the times. It's like being obvious is actually better than being like unpredictable. One of the times in wrestling where it's kind of like, yeah, being obvious is the better choice. All this, and they just all have the same mindset of just like, ugh, Vince would have made the show 1,000 times worse. H is this god tier booker. He can't do anything wrong. And when it's like he has this protective umbrella that's made by the wrestling community, more so the online wrestling community, or IWC for short. How and this is a time where like this is like a booking decision where he should just get flamed for it because we all know, like I said, if Vince did this, oh, the timeline would have erupted. And another thing too, like when Vince was doing failed cash-ins, it's like the timeline would always erupt. This one time that like, oh, a failed cash-in happens under the Triple H, you know, creative, and all of a sudden it's like that's different. You know what I mean? You know, there were no better options for Money in the Bank other than Drew. So basically, it was a good booking decision to sacrifice Money in the Bank, one of the main things used to elevate a wrestler to main event for a feud that's already main event caliber already. It's like Triple H, he has these defenders, nut huggers, if you will, that go about day and night like defend Triple H's shitty booking decisions, such as, you know, having Rhea and Liv extend all the way to Mania 41. Another thing too, speaking of Mania 41, there's a rumor going around that, oh, there might be a triple threat between Roman, Cody, and The Rock. And I just gotta say, like, like, does Triple H know this isn't rocket science? Like, how hard is it to do this? Night 1 closer, Cody and Orton Undisputed Championship. Night 2, Rock and Roman for the Ula Fala and the right to be called Tribal Chief. Wow, I just booked the Mania 41, guys. You know, give me the pen. Like, why is this idea even on the table? This idea should never even came to the table. This idea should never even be brought to the table. This idea should never been brought near the table. Matter of fact, this triple threat shouldn't even make it past Microsoft Word. Like, that's fire on principle right there. At least like Vince would have, like at least with Vince, you know, I understand like the last few years of Vince booking, you know, it was some of the most like eye gouging like cringe ever. He did have some cool points like, you know, the Brock and Roman feud, you know, Seth Rollins' IC title run, Becky Lynch turning heel and whatnot. at least by now, if Vince was still booking, Rock and Roman would have already happened, and we would not be dealing with this. Instead, we might actually deal with, potentially, holding Rock and Roman back for another year so Cody could get back-to-back moments. It's like he already had his moment this year. Why does he need like back-to-back moments? Just have him lose the title to Randy at Mania. It's like that's like the best decision you could go for with his title reign going forward. But H defenders will still go out online and be like, I mean, triple threat does not sound that bad. I mean, triple threat actually sounds like a good idea. Like I'm just saying, he has these glazers left and right. And we all know all these wrestlers have sock accounts. So he's literally looking at the online reception. He's like, if they're saying it's not good, if they're saying it's good, then I must be doing a good job. These people are glazing the work. No, like I just wish that, Triple H would, have more I wish that Triple H would have more moments where it's like, we gotta question his booking. Because this right here was just like, that's like a big question mark on like, this is the dude that's going to be booking from now on. And he just pulled like an all-time stinker with that men's Money in the Bank finish. Like, and that's just like, that's like, we got to start questioning his booking instead of just like getting down on your knees and just straight up, going up and down, glazing him. Like more than Krispy Kreme and Dunkin' Donuts do their donuts combined. So yeah, guys, that's basically in the video. I just, at the end of this, I just want the booking to be better. That's all. It's just like these are, in my opinion, the glaring holes. It's like glaring holes. It's like you could just name this like, less and less criticism, or that he or like the wrestling community thinks that criticizing Triple H means that you're a Vince loyalist or you're an AEW meat writer when, you could hate, like hate both Vince and AEW. You just don't like the current. Matter of fact, I'd rather just have like HBK, book all 3 shows at least. Like NXT actually makes me smile. So yeah, guys, that's basically been the last glaring hole, less and less questioning about his booking. It's like the last glaring hole. Alright guys, make sure to like, share, subscribe. Make sure to like, hit that bell. And, subscribe for more videos. Whether it's WWE, AQ Worlds, Yu-Gi-Oh content, if you have any ideas, drop it down in the comments below. If you want to debate me on the glaring holes that I've mentioned in this video, drop them down below. Just be respectful. And yeah, guys, and think of original comebacks. Saying that I'm a Vince, going in the comment section and immediately just typing Vince Meat Writer is, sorry, not original. Think of something clever and original for once in your life. Alright, guys, make sure to like, subscribe, and yeah, hi guys out.